Good afternoon from New York City, and good morning from a digital recreation of Earth. At the moment, we are around there. It's São Paulo, in South America. It's a city of over 20 million inhabitants at the moment, I believe. We're gonna get into this little airplane here, take off, and fly into the city. So I'm gonna announce takeoff, and I'm gonna depart straight out.
November India traffic, Lovely Bird 1 taking off runway tree 4 departing straight out.
Yep, this is me. I'm Lovely Bird 1. I'm taking off on runway tree 4, departing straight out. I'm gonna get the brakes and set, give you the external view of the takeoff, and here we go. I'm very new of this airplane. I don't even remember the name of it right now. It's supposedly one of the fastest airplanes with tandem seating, private. Let's hold up and put the flaps up. One of the fastest private tandem seated airplane. That means that I could have someone sitting next to me here. And I give myself this call sign Lovely Bird, and I even managed to put a couple of hearts on the wings and one in the bottom of the airplane, using Photoshop and really pulling my hair out quite a bit in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I just took off from an airfield that's around about 60 kilometers from São Paulo to the west. And on the right there in the bottom, you can see Rodovia Raposo Tavares. It's the yeah, it's pretty nice, huh? Boarding gaming minimalist. Good evening, where you're from. And yeah, it's an awesome game. It's basically Google Earth with a flight simulator built on using OpenStreetMaps data. So all these buildings here is based on real OpenStreetMaps data where real buildings are. Obviously they don't look exactly the same, especially as you get closer to them in the bottom. They looked a little bit different, but they use like some sort of AI thing to put buildings that look more or less like what they think the satellite picture of the building looks like. And from up high, it looks pretty much photorealistic, this video game. It looks like you're really there, and the lighting is excellent. I've been very amazed by the clouds. At first I didn't believe it was really true that they would be able to get clouds like that, but now I'm after doing some test flights over Salento the other day, and I will do a live one for my friend Mazu later. I'm a believer in the clouds of this video game. It's very well done. It looks real, and it flies pretty well too. So right now I'm following this big autoestrada, this big rodovia. It's an expressway, like they call it in the States, that goes west straight into the urban jungle of São Paulo. I took off from an airfield called Nascimento, I believe, something like that, and I'm gonna fly over my house where I used to live when I was a kid, from elementary school until middle school, I guess. About 8 years I lived in São Paulo. Very formative experience. I lived basically in the edge of the city that has grown a lot since then, based on what I'm seeing here on this aerial view that you're coming along with me in. And it's really almost scary how big the city is. I don't know if you've been following Microsoft Flight Simulator news on the internet, but recently they found like this monolith, this 200-floor building, I think in Melbourne, and that was based on a typo that someone typed in a wrong a number of floors in the building in the OpenStreetMaps data. And I believe that in the distance there is another one, because that's a pretty big building for that part of town by itself, so I wouldn't be surprised if that thing there is also some sort of typo in OpenStreetMaps data. Maybe we can fly by it a little later and see what it looks like. And I put a couple of hearts on the wings of the airplane because I feel like the last few years, especially there's been too much hate in the world, especially coming from our leaders, the people who should be uniting people and should be uniting all of humanity in a common goal, because we live in this planet together. And this is a nice thing in this video game: you can actually go anywhere in the planet in the video game. The whole Earth is there. Some parts might be modeled a bit better than others, but the whole Earth is there. So playing this video game and going around in these tours, I wanted to, express a bit what I feel like leaders should be promoting more. Not division, but love for one another and unity. And that's why I've put 2 little hearts on the top, 1 little heart on the bottom, and I gave myself the call sign Lovely Bird. What the fuck? Hey, you gotta do something, right? So, okay, I think I'm near where I used to live here. It's hard to recognize with this urban jungle that we're approaching. Look at that. Look how many buildings, look how many people are down there. But I believe I used to live around here somewhere. I'm gonna try to find it now. Maybe it's this part. Is this here Parque Primavera, maybe? Let's see. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So let me fly it like from inside the airplane. I managed to find this with some GPS coordinates the other day. So that house there with the obscure swimming pool right there was where I lived when I was a kid. And one of the amazing things about this particular image and this particular point of view here, I feel, is that you can really see the division between... it wasn't really a shanty town, but really a poorer part of town right up against we lived in this sort of condominium thing, and we had a lot of trees and stuff, and right next to it there's this division. It was a wall basically between us. I was lucky enough to be a middle-class family, and our neighbors who were lower middle class, and they lived there. It wasn't as dramatic as this when I lived there over 20 years ago, but you can see that it's just a crazy image. That used to be my house right there. You can see next to Lovely Bird right there. Many good memories: flying kites, playing with my friend Arthur, who used to live in a house, I believe. Here I have to go back to the beginning of inside the plane, which is a little easier to see. I lived there, and I think he lived that. I mean, his house didn't look like that type of building there, but it was, I think, around that one there. And we used to play together a lot in the forest, even though we lived in right by a huge city, basically. Right now, today it's become the huge city. So, okay, I'm gonna do one more turn here with Lovely Bird, tail number 00-001, and this is a part of São Paulo called Cotia, and now we're gonna keep on heading west into the city, and I'm gonna take the route that I used to take every morning. I used to leave around 6:50 in the morning with my dad in the car, and we used to drive for between an hour and an hour and a half to get into town, depending on the traffic. So here's the rodovia Raposo Tavares. Makes it easy for me to follow it right into the city, and I'm gonna go in low now and try not to crash. Probably be easier said than done, flying this unfamiliar airplane, which I like very much. It's quite stable. It can fly much faster than the Cub I was flying before. It doesn't break up in midair and give me the Microsoft screen of death as often as with the other one. And very stable. You still have to trim it, although there seems to be the control seems to be a little buggy. The control mapping interface of the simulator just came out. There's probably a lot of bugs, and so I wish I could put the trim on my controller, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Seems a little bit buggy right now, so I'm just gonna try to follow this rodovia, going low sometimes, going fast at others, and try not to crash and fly right into the city. Let's try to get a little bit more height here while we're approaching the city, so you can see it's quite a spectacle coming into this already very heavily built up area. It reminds me a bit of more New Jersey here in the United States, and heading into the downtown of Grande São Paulo. I think probably the 4th largest city in the world, after maybe Mexico, Tokyo, and who knows where else these days. I haven't looked at those statistics for a long time. But it really is an urban jungle, and you notice it when you're coming in on a flight maybe from Rio de Janeiro to land in Congonhas, in the airport in the center of the city. There are 2 airports, a big one, the international one, Guarulhos, on the outskirts more, although now it's probably in the city as well, considering how fast it expanded. And Congonhas, which is the local, but I think it probably takes international flights now as well, right smack in the center of the city. So keep following Raposo Tavares, and you can see there in the distance to the right the lights. That's of Congonhas, I believe. And this is not live time in São Paulo right now, in this time in the simulator. I've put it the same time, I configure it to be the same time that I used to leave to go to school on this commute that I'm doing by air now. It'll be much faster. And I also configure it to be some sort of scattered low clouds to play around with the weather a bit, to try to see what it looks like. Although in this game you can configure it to be current time, current weather based on real life data, and even current air traffic with live players. It takes when you do that, it takes away from the frame rate a bit, because it's eating up your bandwidth from your internet connection. It's pulling out this data at the same time as and loading on this data at the same time as you're playing it. And I don't know if that's what it does, but I've noticed that it slows down when a bit when I put everything live, and it speeds up a bit when I have here I'm going to turn left here, get into I think Rebosas. Yeah, when you put it on all auto configured, it becomes a little faster, the game. Alright, and here we are, we're crossing the Rio Tietê into a couple of big buildings here. To the right here you see Shopping Iguatemi, a big monolith of Western consumerism. Nothing against that, but you can see how big this shopping mall is right here. I think this is the Iguatemi if I remember right. And right now I'm headed to Jardins, and I'm going to look for my old school, which was right in the middle here. I'm going to take a little bit of height. You can see how many buildings there are here. And I think that's it to the right there. When my mom used to bring me in as well, we used to get right around to a road right up here. Simulates the traffic. And there's St. Paul's School. There's a British school. And I'm gonna go and do a couple of like orbit a little bit. I mean, I have many stories from this school, that's for sure, but I'm not gonna tell them all here. There will have to be other flights for this. And I was planning on trying to land on that field. St. Paul's School, São Paulo. Looks a little bit like a prison from this height. Sometimes it felt like that when you had to... That's the other time I had to wear a tie for work. I actually never had to wear a tie for work in my life. The only times I had to wear a tie was during winter, especially 8 years in this school here, São Paulo in Brazil, in St. Paul's. And now, flying my new job as a video game player and talker on the internet. I'm putting a tie on for this job, and I learned to put a tie on at St. Paul's School that I'm orbiting right now in Lovely Bird, my little airplane. And used to play a lot in that soccer field there. I don't remember that tennis court being there, so they probably moved it around. I love that little nook and cranny of that sort of palm tree there. We used to get into that corner when we were kids and just hang out, try to skip class when we could. A lot of fun, a lot of good friends I made in this place that I'm in touch with still. I might actually stream myself playing a video game with one of them if you will give me permission at some point. And yeah, it's I spent a lot of my time here. Every day I would arrive at between 7:30 and 8 a.m. I'd be one of the first people there, me and maybe Betizo or something, and just hang out until, because my dad wanted to miss traffic as much as he could and get to work. Yeah, completely understandable. I used to take a pillow in the car, and yeah, got suspended a few times, unfairly in my opinion. Maybe one fairly, one unfairly. Although I was just I won't go into that now, but let's go into the city. I think if I get a vector of 220 from St. Paul's, if my notes are correct here, you see I have this thing, which is something I made. You can download it for free at hypertexthero.com. It's called a compass rose with back azimuth, so you can put it against something that has that little thing in the center there, and then you can see what vector to take from a particular position to reach another position, and also the return vector, the back azimuth. So I placed that on top of St. Paul's earlier today, and it told me that if I headed bearing 220 from St. Paul's, I would hit Barão de Limeira, Avenida Barão de Limeira, where this friend of mine used to live. We threw a couple of things out the window of his apartment a couple of times and never hurt anybody, but you know, we were kids, we played around, and he lived in a very different part of town from me. He lived like in the center, in a high rise, in a big building. And we're going to try to head over there now. So let me take a look at my bearing here. Let's try to head at 220. All right. I'll do one more orbit. It's a little hard to fly and talk and move the view of the mouse at the same time. I'm gonna get a track IR. I have to make myself okay, here we go. That was 220 there. I'm gonna get myself a track IR eventually, so I'll be able to talk more comfortably and fly more smoothly eventually. I don't know if this is correct actually, because this looks like I'm going back over the river. No, this is, maybe it was the opposite. Maybe it was what? Maybe it was 40. Oh yeah, never mind. I'm looking at it wrong. It's 40. Okay, so let me overfly St. Paul's, and I'm looking at it upside down here. Too many things happen at once. Flying over São Paulo, Metrópole de São Paulo in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, over Jardins. Here's St. Paul's School right under my nose, right there. Big field, Campão, Campo. And now, okay, 040 was it that I said? Yeah, 040 is the back azimuth of the 220, so we should be heading more or less towards Barão de Limeira right now. Let's see if we can... my friend didn't send me his exact address, and I don't remember it, but I don't think I'll be able to... I don't know if I'll be able to recognize the avenida, but we're gonna head that direction and see if we can see something, just orbit around there. Opa! Purple Storm 300, how are you doing, sir? Not sure who you are, but you probably know me, or if not, I like your little Pikachu with the shy the embarrassed sort of Pikachu with red polka dots on his face. Very nice. Maybe Barão de Limeira was down here. Was it down here? Some of these big buildings here. Not sure. It's Dom. Hey Dom, how's it going, man? Sorry, I didn't. There's so many different handles and usernames now to keep track of. So, but yeah, now I remember from Discord. Dom's a very nice young man, related to me, who lives in the UK. Played Arma a bit, although my server has been shut down because I can't afford to keep going anymore with that one. But I am gonna do my best to bring him into our next server, even if I have to buy him the contact DLC. We'll talk about another game now, and we'll see how that goes. But thanks very much for joining. We're over São Paulo right now on Lovely Bird 00-001. Fast little light airplane flying over Metropolis that I drove into many times every day over the course of 8 years before we left and we moved to North Africa. And then we came back for a year, and then we went to Italy. You can see the shafts of light there in the distance. Really beautiful lighting in this video game. I'm trying to get more height now to show you. I try to fly near a cloud and show you how it looks from a greater height, because I feel like this game really shines when you start getting higher, when the satellite images started taking over a little bit, and instead of just 3D models, you get a bit of real imagery from the real world, from the OpenStreetMaps data. Alright, I don't need to really look too much at this stuff anymore. I'm going to turn off the avionics switch. Show you a bit of the inside of the airplane here. It's it looks like a sports car. Very nice, very simple and very streamlined cockpit, this thing. Doesn't have the backup analog instruments that I like, so you're stuck with the avionics switch, but it's well organized, well laid out cockpit. You have a very elegant sort of speed indicator there. It turns like into a little shell almost. Don't know if I actually like that or not, but it works. And this digital thing here, you have like your heading, a full compass, altitude on the right, and speed on the left there. If you're in the green, it's alright. I'm gonna dive and speed up a little bit now. Maybe get close to this cloud over here, try to fly through the cloud, see what happens. And you'll see that the airspeed will start going up to the yellow. In the yellow, you'll still be fine. If you get into red, you have to watch out. Airplane might break up, and you get the Microsoft screen of death, which just tells you you overstressed the airframe, game over, you know. But okay, let's fly to the cloud, see a bit if there's any effects we can see flying in a cloud. I haven't actually done this very much. You can see the lighting change, the quality of the light changes quite a bit based on the weather. Have the settings on high here, and these things, you'll notice it's basically a little hole, and in real airplanes, when you fly them, it's light airplanes, it's very important for you to be able to hear what the aircraft is doing. So these are open holes in the cockpit to the outside air, and that lets you feel and listen to the sound of the airframe, because then you can tell when it's going to stall, you can tell if it's starting to shake, if it's buffeting, and it's very important for flying to be able to listen to your airplane, not just in the video game but in the real world as well. Haven't flown much in the real world, but I have flown in a glider, I have flown in light airplanes. I don't have a license, but I've spent quite a lot of time on airplanes, lucky enough to have those experiences, and it really was something that made me fall in love with these machines that for me are a triumph of human beings over the machines. Look at that lighting down there, look at that, that's beautiful. Early morning, what time is it in game? Does it have a time here? Probably like 7 something. I'm not sure where it's showing the time. Yeah, I don't know what time, where the clock is in this, but that's I will spend more time looking at the outside than the inside, preferably. Very beautiful light here around 7 in the morning, 7:30 in São Paulo, Brazil. And these machines are really, airplanes are a triumph of human beings over the machines, which, as Dom's dad probably will tell you, has the same opinion about cars in that sense. Cars, if something goes wrong, you can park. Generally, it'll be okay. Airplanes, you can't park in the sky, so if something goes wrong, and I might try to do that later as to simulate something, you turn off the engine, then you have to find somewhere to land in order not to crash or jump off. You have a parachute. But then you have to worry about your plane crashing on something and hurting someone else. So there's a few more things to worry about, and I'm very glad that I can fly these in a video game and not in real life. It's much cheaper too. Alright, let's get some speed here and let's dive down. You'll notice I'm actually turn off the instruments on the outside view here in the settings, so it gives you a nicer view out there. I'm still having a bit of trouble with the flyby views with the drone, but I am getting better at that, and soon we'll be able to do some flyby views to thrill you as well. So I'm going to dive into this cloud. Generally not a good idea in the real world. You can see there it's telling you to pull up because you're starting to get into that white and red over 165 knots. You're going to get in trouble with your airframe if you keep going like that. And look let's do some low flying, some more exciting low flying back into the thick of it, of these big buildings here, but really low. Let's do some flying that wouldn't really fly in the real world. Some low flying. Let me stretch a little bit. I have to try to watch out for my posture in the streaming business. A lot of time for on the computer. Got to move around a bit. Got to, you know, take breaks every 20 minutes, preferably. I'm not gonna take a break every 20 minutes right now because I'm streaming, but once an hour for sure. Unless you're doing what these crazy streamers do, that they like have like 8-hour, 12-hour challenges. That's nuts, dude. I mean, unless like you really promise you'll get me a VR headset or something, maybe if someone promised you they would, or a track IR. I don't know if VR and streaming would be difficult because I wouldn't be able to see like the chat, for example, very easily. I wouldn't be able to type on my keyboard as easily, and that would be tough. But a track IR would be nice, and who knows? Maybe I'll. Same problem with boats, yeah. You get sick. I get sick in boats sometimes. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, Dom, but here we are flying pretty low over the city. But I do want to experience VR. I've tried it once so far at a friend's house, and it's really awesome. It really makes you feel like you're there. But I think for flying all the time, it becomes pretty challenging and pretty tiring. And I don't know if I would get sick. I don't think I would get sick. Sometimes I get sick in real boats, but in video games, 3D video games, generally I'm okay. I haven't gotten sick from a video game yet. So let's see. I don't think so, at least. Very low fly in the city. It's pretty amazing how the frame rate is still pretty smooth. I think I'm about 30 to 40 frames per second right now, maybe 30 to 50. Pretty smooth. I just built this machine in order to do this streaming for you, in order for this career change to become a reality. Because before I couldn't stream and play the video game at the same time. It'd get super slow, especially these latest video games. But now with this, I have an i5 9600K, I think, processor and a 2070 Super GTX video card. And this is the only game that makes it not go, go below 60 frames per second in cities. When I'm outside the city, it's generally smooth as butter. But in a big city like this, at 1440p, it gets a little bit slower. If I turn off the volumetric clouds, that makes it much faster. If I turn them down to medium instead of high, that makes it much faster. But I really like the clouds as they are now, so I'll do some fairly dangerous flying here. The Brazilian air authorities, federal authorities, really would not be very impressed with what I'm doing right now, and they probably want to try to find out who I am and where I am pretty quickly if I did this. Although I wonder if you get away with it more easily in Brazil than here. I'm not suggesting you do this in real life, but I think in the news the other day, I saw that some pilot in June in Michigan flew under a bridge and they were trying to find out who it was. It's quite a daredevil thing on the Mackinac Bridge or something. I've actually seen here in New York City a helicopter, a military helicopter, a Black Hawk, fly under the George Washington Bridge, a formation of 2 helicopters. And I'm not sure if they were authorized to do that, and so I don't know if they got in trouble for that, but that was pretty nuts. Alright, let's... now the question is, I don't know if this is... I think this is a... either a park... I'm not sure what that is. There's a Parque Ibirapuera maybe there. I was going to try to land where I used to go to school in St. Paul's, but with this airplane, I think it's almost impossible. Maybe it's possible. I can find St. Paul's pretty easily. It's over there. But that field there is really small, and I think the only airplane I'll be able to land there without crashing is the Cub, which is a very short takeoff and landing capable aircraft. With this one, I'm gonna slow down as much as I can, cut back the throttle here, and put down the flaps. You can see the flaps going down right there, the indicator. Okay, flaps are fully down. And I'm gonna put down my landing gear, and I'm gonna try to fly as slow as possible and just see how it feels, but I'm gonna be ready to put on the power and take off again, because I really don't think I can land without crashing on that field of this airplane. I might still decide to try it, but let me do a little pass at what I think is the landing speed. I don't know even know what I have to here. Let's before I do that, let's check if there's any information here on the dashboard. Cruise speed is 121 knots, maneuvering is 88, stalling speed 29 knots. Okay, so I can hang on the wing there at 29 knots, and I will stall. Max speed of flaps down 65. Okay, yeah. So stalling speed 29 knots. That's what I have to remember. It's right there. You see the left side there. If I can, I'm gonna try to fly at just over at about 30 knots over there and see how it's feeling. And if it really feels like I will crash, then I'm just gonna head to Congonhas and land over there. If it feels like it to be possible, I'll just be a daredevil, because I have infinite lives here. It's a computer game, and try to. It's one of my broken record sayings, I guess. And I would, if it looks like it could work, I will try to land there with this airplane, but I don't think it can. So okay, I'm gonna have to turn to go around once. Lovely bird. You can see the gears are down. You can see the heart under the airplane here, representing peace and love around the world. I'm going to be flying with this and other airplanes with hearts on their wings around the world. Try to get some more love out there instead of hate, instead of division. And let's see how that's feeling. All right, let's go. All right, I'm at 65. That's still pretty fast. I have to. It's a little bit. Sorry that it gets pretty confusing with view and everything here, but I have a lot of things I'm doing at once here. Let's try to move a bit to the right. Okay, wow, yeah, that's pretty low. Okay, you can hear that's the stall warning there that I'm stalling when it start beeping. Pretty slow. Could I just get over that? Maybe I could land on that street. Would that do? What if I try landing on that street at least, and then taxi to the front of St. Paul's? Sounds like it would be a bit more doable than landing on the field, and then I can come back another time with the Cub and land on the field. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. This is too slow for this plane, so instead I'm going to try to land on, I forget the name of that road there. But I notice I have one more viewer. Okay, have a good dinner. Say hi to Ian. Take care, man. And I'll message you about Arma soon, alright? Thanks so much for joining in. Okay, gear up, flaps up, and someone else joined me. Or actually, that's probably Dom. Okay, but let's do a quick flight to Congonhas before I do this, and maybe I'll just land in this Congonhas this time, because I think it'll be more exciting if I actually can land in that field with a Cub instead of this. What was it called? This thing, a JMB aircraft. VL3 Evolution. I can tell because it's the back of it's on the side here, and the tail. All right, let's go to Congonhas. Let me put the flaps up here, and let's do a quick pass on the airport, and then I'm gonna request landing to ATC and try to land. I'm sweating a lot here. I don't know if you can tell because I'm wearing this fucking tie and this and this shirt, and it's like, I don't know. How hot do you think it is here, babe, in New York City? I don't know how hot it is, but it's like, it feels like 35 degrees right now, probably because I'm inside the house with no air conditioning, with a shirt and tie on. Well, feels like 96 Fahrenheit for the Americans here. I don't know what that is. Probably feels like 36 with the humidity. It's humid as hell here, and you see, I love those little blinky lights from the. It's like basically like a farol. It's like a got a blank here speaking Portuguese and English. It's like a lighthouse but for airplanes, and they have that on airports, and you can see the very bright lights of Congonhas. airport here. Okay, let's ask air traffic control if I can land. Tune São Paulo approach on 120.250. Request nearest airport list. I don't want a flight following. I want Congonhas. Tune Congonhas here. Atis on 127.50. Tune São Paulo Tower 127.150. Request touch and go. Let's do a touch and go.
Lovely Bird 1 is 1 miles northwest with Bravo for touch and go.
Lovely Bird 1 São Paulo Tower. Fly left traffic runway tree 5 left. Altimeter 29er.9er 2 wind 290 at 8.
Okay, fly left, traffic runway 35L, so I guess there's some traffic there. They told me to fly left, acknowledge pattern entry instructions. Okay. I'm on downwind. That was really horrible because you shouldn't ever overfly the runway in the real life. I'm just going to turn this off now and take a look with all my controls here from the outside view. My flap's still up. I thought I put it down. I put it up, I mean. It's still down. I thought I put it up. Let's see. Okay, that's 35L right there. You can see a windsock down in the bottom. Down there in the bottom, that's a windsock that shows you the direction of the wind. Okay. Okay, so we got a crosswind. It's not very strong, but I'm clear for touch and go on 35 left. So I'm gonna go to air traffic control, and I'm going to acknowledge that. Clear touch and go, rotary 35L, Lovely Bird 1. Okay. Alright. So I told him I'm going to go in and land now. I'm going to move to the right side of the airplane. It's the cool thing about if I had like track IR here, I could move my head this way and it would do this, so I don't have to do it with my mouse here. Alright, I'm going to put the gears down. I'm going to put my flaps down. Double check here in the controls that it's down. Okay, the gears down, flaps are down. Okay, everything's good. Looking good. I'm going to do a touch and go. That means that I'm going to land and take off again. I'm not going to roll to a stop. Another thing that's confusing the hell out of me is that this must be a bug because I had mapped that it was working before, but when I turn, I'm pressing left and I'm looking right, and I'm pressing right and I'm looking left here. So that's adding to my confusion here. Very intensive game to fly and stream at the same time. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 without a track IR, but here we go. This is a touch and go at Congonhas. When you come in to land, more power you get more height, and less power you reduce speed. So the power actually controls your height, not your whoa, that was a close call in that building there. The power doesn't control how fast you're going. It does too, but it controls mainly your height when you're landing. So here you go. That's a nice little touch and go. Come a little bit, almost. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, here you go, and I'm touching, and I'm gonna bring up the flaps if I can. Keep the airplane with the rudder on the runway, and flaps start going up. I think I want the flaps up, and now I'm gone again. Gear up. Very docile airplane. This it doesn't complain at all. It flies really nicely. If I had how many $1 million it probably cost to have one of these airplanes, it's probably one of my choices. The reason I chose this to show you this flight actually is because it has a wonderful, if you see from the outside view, has a really wonderful clear bubble canopy of no visual, nothing in front of you and the airplane. It's a couple of ladies in there that haven't checked my look very nice, just flying together. Yeah, this bubble canopy really gives you a wonderful view. It's kind of like a fighter airplane canopy, unobstructed view, gives you a beautiful view from the sky to the city here in São Paulo. Okay, I don't need any more touch and goes. I don't know why there's still to. I'm gonna acknowledge landing clearance, but I'm gonna cancel that because I'm not gonna go back there right now. And I want to climb a bit and see if I can get a bit of height to see what this scene here is looking from above the clouds, high up. This might take a little while. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to trim the airplane, and I might go and throw some water in my face, and I'll take a breather here and drink my coffee, my iced coffee. I'm gonna do this hot after lunch iced coffee, not an espresso on a day like this. I'll tell you, not a hot espresso. You need a iced coffee to cool you down and keep that caffeine coming. Maybe someday I'll be sponsored by I don't know, Illy or something. Ciao Illy, ciao executives from Illy. If you're watching this and you're a flight simulator fan and you're rich enough to buy me one of these airplanes and fly it in real life while commenting on your coffee, I'll do it for you. You can be a competitor. Actually, you can do like a Nespresso. You probably wouldn't want me for that. You want more like a George Clooney lookalike. I actually met George Clooney. How'd you get hearts on plane? Hey Mojo, how you doing, man? I cursed a lot. I threw like some things, and I clicked a lot of things in Photoshop and tried a lot of trial and error, and I finally managed. I'm gonna be writing a little post about that, although there's probably already someone in the internet who's done it before me. Basically, you go into the flight simulator, you find search for .dds files, and you want the one, I forget the name of it right now. I have to look it up, but I'll message you after and show you. But you can put your own screens on your airplane now, and I really made it really a basic thing because I was gonna put like a bunch of other stuff, but it was really hard to, without a template from Microsoft. It was hard to see on the flat, I don't know the terminology for that, but on the flight skin files, I wasn't sure what would appear where, so it took a lot of trial and error, but I managed to put a big heart on the bottom and one little heart on each wing, and that's sort of a message that I was speaking about. Oh, look at those beautiful clouds over São Paulo, Brazil, to people that there's too much division and hate in the world, especially from our leaders, so I wanted to, you know, fly over places and spread some love out there in the skies, in the digital skies at least, and I hope in the real skies too. Look at that beautiful view. The clouds in this game are the best clouds I've ever seen in any flight simulator, for sure. It looks like you're really there, especially from the top with the lighting, higher height. And yeah, I promise I'll write a little link about how you put the skins, and I can send you the skin I did for this airplane if you want to fly an airplane with hearts on. My call sign, you'll see, is Lovely Bird. Let's tune and that's request fly following. Lovely Bird is Congonhas. It's Congonhas. Alright, let's acknowledge the squawk code. Squawk 0362, Lovely Bird 1. Okay. Okay. Alright, Mojo, by the way, I'm flying AI and not live right now. But if you want to join me, I can later switch off and we could do a flight together. One thing I noticed, I was mentioning this before, that the performance on this game becomes lower if you have full AI and full players in a very densely populated area. And I noticed the performance improves, for me at least, quite a bit if you're flying with AI traffic, not real life traffic, and without the players. But one of the great joys of these video games is to fly with other people, so I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of flights with friends, with Mojo here. He's the first person I've flown with in this video game. He's a very nice gentleman, doesn't live too far away from me here in the United States. He's lived in a few places in the world as well. Una buona persona, una boa pessoa. And probably of another friend of mine called Respo, who is also a huge flight simulator fan, both combat and I would dare say even more the civilian flight simulators that I'm a total amateur at. And we're gonna have many flights together, and one of my plans with these hearts and the Lovely Bird is to do flights all around the world, especially in areas that have a war going on right now, or have a really bitter, horrible border disputes. And I'm gonna fly this over those places with these hearts to try to spread some love from the digital world into our real world that could really use more of that. Everywhere, in Brazil, in the United States, China, North and South Korea, Israel, Palestine, you name it, Russia and Georgia. We need more. Russia and Ukraine. We need more love out there, not all this division that our inadequate leaders tend to encourage in order to keep their power. And I mean, this urban jungle here, you can see how high I am. I'm at 10 Angels 10 right now, approaching Angels 11, 10,000 feet, and almost as far as the eye can see over here. And it's I reduced the pollution for this because you can change the toxin. I forget the microparticle levels in the air in this game, and I think I've reduced that a little so that you can see further. But generally, you cannot see this far on a day in São Paulo. Usually. Maybe this is because of the pandemic too. I don't think I have live weather though. I did put a pre-configure one so you could see a greater distance in these nice fluffy clouds. But I wonder afterwards. I want to come in. Opa, malcontents GA. Oh yeah, I was a hero. I play a hero in video games and not a hero in real life. That's what video games are for me to be able to play a hero. Thanks for watching. I hope you're not really malcontent. I hope you're happy wherever you are. And thanks for joining in here, tuning in. And I was just saying that usually São Paulo, especially without the pandemic going on, is a very polluted city. I mean, look how big it is. It's a huge urban jungle. I would say this. I mean, no offense to people that have kids. I'm very happy my parents had me so I could actually experience this video game, but when I look at cities that are this big in real life or in video games, I've said, like, you know, it's okay not to have kids. That's perfectly fine. There's a lot of people in the world having kids, but it's okay if some of us don't. Human beings are the most dangerous and the most ecologically devastating species on the planet, I would say. And this video game, it does give you a little window into that, because it's wonderful. It's based on real life data. You can fly anywhere in the world, and you can see some of these places for yourself at different heights. Let's swoop in now with yeah, some people might get upset at that, but hey, what can I say? Let's swoop down a bit low. I want to stay right above the clouds. I'm going to switch. I managed to turn off the instrument view, so I have to come into the airplane to be able to see my airspeed here. It does have actually an analog airspeed indicator. That makes me very happy. I don't think it has analog altitude. That would be nice, unless I'm mistaken. But you can see my airspeed here. If it gets in the red, you're in trouble. Your Microsoft screen of death. Just like, oh, your airplane overstressed airframe. As long as in the yellow, I'll be fine. Let's dive back in there. Let's show maybe a malcontent and Mojo how it is to fly in the city low by the buildings, in between the buildings, with this pretty fast little airplane. Okay. Throttle's totally cut. That's why this plane is very docile in its descent too. It's not like the Cub that just like drops like a rock if you do if you roll upside down. This it's pretty docile. You really have to see it. Like right now, I'm pushing it a bit. I have to put the nose up. It really descends quite in a very well-behaved manner, kind of like I was in the British school I went to here. Well, I was badly behaved, but they wanted me to be well-behaved. By them trying to make me be as well behaved as possible, I became even more badly behaved. That's what happens when you try to tell a kid to do something. They do the opposite. So give them space, let them try a lot of different things. Let them do art, let them do sports, let them do math, let them do science. Don't just force them to do one or the other. And for Christ's sake, all the gods, whatever god you believe in, sake, don't try to make them follow in your footsteps or take over your business or be someone you wish you could have been but weren't. Let each person. I don't know how the heck I even got into this tangent. Probably because I'm flying near the squares to go to here. But let the person find themselves and be themselves. Very important, especially when you're a kid. What? Oh, sorry. I thought I heard something. All right. Well, those clouds, the light, the clouds really model. See those clouds there are really blocking the sunlight from here, and it really models that light. So see over there, the light is shining over there because the clouds are not blocking over there. So it's really an amazing achievement that they did with the lighting and the weather and everything. The environmental design of this flight simulator. I mean they had a lot of help from the real world because they're using satellite map data, and they try to make it sound like it was Bing, Microsoft Bing, but no, it's OpenStreetMap's data. Probably of, I don't know, Bing. You won. I want a track IR. Who's rich out there? And I'm gonna make a goal especially for you guys, and for whoever is a very wealthy person out there. And I'm gonna make maybe tonight one of these Twitch goes. I want to track IR so I don't have to, so I can fly with both hands on the throttle and stick. All right, maybe with a new throttle and stick too, because now all my buttons work in this. And with a little track IR stuck here, so I could turn around and it would follow, the little laser reflectivity would follow my head. And all right, full power. Let's throttle up and shut up, and I'll be able to turn around without being scared of crashing and get into these weird tangents all the time. Although maybe that's not such a bad thing. Okay, I'm gonna fly right into the middle of these buildings here and try to weave my way through and see what happens. I'm at 51 minutes. I'll probably stop at an hour. So, well, look, what the hell is this? It's like water, but there's cars on it. Okay, it's a bunch of, it's a Catholic country predominantly, with a bunch of other cultish religions as well, similar religions. So everyone's driving on water there. They don't just walk on water in Brazil, they drive on water too. Okay, that's probably a little bug in the OpenStreetMap's Microsoft Bing Black Shark Eye Asobo Studio code. But okay, let's try not to crash. Let's try to fly fast here inside these buildings. Do I have flaps down or something? It seems a little slower than usual. No, I think I think I'm doing okay. All right. This is Lovely Bird 000-01 or 00-001 flying over São Paulo, Brazil. For the people joining me, I see I have another follower there. Welcome. Well, another joiner, I'm not just a follower. I wonder, I have this Streamlabs thing that says that if I get a follower, like this spring thing and this little zombie appears on the screen. I haven't seen that happen yet. I wonder if that I've actually connected that properly so that if someone follows me or cheers or something, a little pring appears on my screen. Maybe I have to stream with Streamlabs for that, but I don't think so. I think I can do it with OBS Studio and just bring it in like that, but I haven't seen that yet. I think I might have seen it once when my first follower, the kind R2, first following, but I don't remember seeing it again. I wonder if I have to configure it well. Yeah, buildings look pretty cool, huh? They're I'm at high, I think, building. I'm at high building quality. It's the high preset. Everything, I didn't really touch anything. I had dropped the render scaling to 90, but I think I took it back to 100. So I'm at the default high settings, probably around 30 to 50 frames per second, I would say. But you can actually see that. I think if I press escape here real quick and go to developer mode, I can turn it on and we can actually probably see that. Here, let's see, apply and save. Yeah, there you go, about 35 frames per second, limited by either the GPU and the CPU usually. See, limited by the main thread or the GPU. I have a 2070S i5 9600K, I think it was. I don't remember. Yours look blocky. It could be the internet connection, but what city? Was it New York City or was it São Paulo? Another thing that I also noticed, Mojo is that it takes a little while once you first arrive in an area. It might take a little while for things to load because I think it's streaming the information from their servers. So if you hang out in an area like I've had here over São Paulo for a while now, excuse me, hiccup, for a while, then things clear up. Oh, look at, let's just fly into that light there. I want to go into the light. No offense to anybody, you know, whatever you believe in. I mean no offense. You know, if you're Catholic, Christian, I'm gonna turn this thing off now. I mean no offense in my comments about walking on water, but you know, if you don't have a sense of humor, then you might, or if you don't like my sense of humor, then you probably, yeah, you might get in. You can get into some arguments with me on the chat here or not. Mean no offense to anyone, whatever they believe in. Free to believe in whatever they want, but I will make jokes about pretty much anything over here. So, because a humorous view always brings with it a much wider perspective, I believe. I've stolen that. It's not really my idea. I've stolen it from John Cleese, I believe, from Monty Python, one of the great humorers that are still alive, that I love very much. There's this lecture of his called John Cleese on Creativity. If you Google that on YouTube, it's one of my favorite pieces of YouTube. If you watch, it's about 45 minutes long, but it's really a lesson in a lot of things in life and what to take seriously, what not to take seriously. And generally, I don't take religion or especially the bosses, the people who call themselves the leaders of religions, very seriously. And so if I met Jesus or a prophet or something like that, you know, I would treat him just like the janitor or anybody else. I treat him nice. I won't treat him any different. Even if they were wearing a suit and tie, even if they were dressed like the headmaster of a school in São Paulo. All right. Now this is a more industrial part of the city, but we're also, the reason I'm coming here is to get into this light here. Look at the spark here. This friend of mine that's an architect, it's a roundabout. The car is going happily around the roundabout. A friend of mine who's an architect. I don't know if he could watch today, but maybe in the future he will. I think he would love this video game because he grew up in this city. He loves this city, and it's a very architecturally interesting city, especially downtown. Look at this little airfield here. I never even knew about this airfield. What is this? Let's take a look. ATC. Cancel flight following.
Approach Lovely Bird 1.
Lovely Bird 1, São Paulo approach. Please stop following my airplane. I want to be left alone. Thank you. Alright, it cleared me through Charlie Airspace. Fantastic. I'll see you.
Through Charlie Airspace,
Oh shit!
Lovely Bird 1.
Did I run out of fuel? My engine's coming off here. Oh shit. Okay, where's the fuel gauge? Alright, well, luckily there's an airfield behind me, but... Okay, nearest airport list, March. Can I declare emergency on this thing?
Information Charlie 100.
Oh, fuck it. I'm just gonna go in. I think I ran out of fuel here. I don't know. Did I press a button to turn the engine off? I have no clue, but okay, maybe I switch the fuel to right, maybe? Switch your fuel to right. Oh, okay. Left tank was empty. That's what happening. By all the gods. That was close. I was lucky I was over the airfield. You sound really... Oh, shut up. I was having an emergency here and you tell me all this stuff. Okay, I want to tune to March. Okay. Wow, okay, that almost... It feels real. It feels like you're there. I could hear like the engine going down. Okay, that's the fuel. I had to turn it to the right fuel tank from the left one. And my engine turned on again. It was puttering away. It was like... And then it just turned off. That's scary because I was pretty low. Probably would have made the landing on that thing. But I want to fly now that I have another tank. I want to... okay, wow, there's a lot of... Can you shut up, please? Can I turn off this? Alright, I'll just keep flying and... Copy that. Are you done? Thank you. Wow, that was a lot of information. I mean, that was way too much information. It's very nice, very subtle lens flare there. Now we're in the lighting here of São Paulo. I don't know what part of town this is, but you can see how far the city goes. It just disappears into the horizon. Look at that in the distance there. Now you can look back to where we're coming from, to the part of the city in shadow. Very wonderful lighting here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Acknowledge. Okay. Alright, so I think I'm going to take a look at these hills here nearby. And then I'm going to, I think, approach in this Marche and come in for a landing there. Even though I was going to go to Congonhas. And this was one other thing I wanted to tell you about, but I don't remember what it is right now. It's been an hour. We're just at an hour, so let's do I have the courage to tune in to Aerocampo Marche, Aeroporto Marche, and ask for... There's a very talkative air traffic control there, I think. Alright, request full stop land. Let's do it.
Tower, Lovely Bird 1 is 3 miles northeast with Delta to land.
Lovely Bird 1 São Paulo Tower. Enter left base run.
Actually, never mind.
Report information Delta 1000 Zulu. Line 290 and 8. Visibility 6. Sky condition 900 feet scattered 4,000 feet.
Can't I land there? Is that not
Large airport information Delta 1000 Zulu. Line 290 and 8. Visibility 6. Sky condition 900 feet scattered 4,000 feet scattered.
maybe there's something I have to do in the ATC that I don't know about, but I think I'm just gonna go in and land.
Visual runway tree 0 in use. Landing and departing runway tree 0. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Delta.
Well, I'm trying to tune you, but... Okay, shut up. Let's shoot to the other one, and let's just go in. I'm gonna turn off the radio now.
Line 290 and 8. Visibility 6. Sky condition 900 feet scattered 4,000 feet.
Okay, off. Thank you. I think that seems a little buggy, that ATC, or maybe I'm not supposed to land there. Maybe it's some sort of yeah, military thing, I don't know, but I'm just gonna go in and land without clearance because I'm in a video game and I am getting a little tired now. Even though I have 6 viewers, I'm gonna have to take a break and go to the bathroom. So I'm gonna land, and I'll probably be back a little later with a flight over Salento, the southeast coast of Italy. So if you know Italy is a boot, it's the heel of the boot. I'm gonna fly around there because I have a friend there who wanted me to fly over and show him how it looks from this video game. So I'm gonna do that a little later. I don't know, I'm not sure what direction the wind is coming for this, so let's just go in and hope for the best. Usually you want to land into the wind, you don't want to just land with a tailwind. That's pretty dangerous. But this is a very small airplane. It has a fairly short landing capability, and I'm not going to worry too much about the wind here because it's a pretty long runway for it. Here he goes. Just hang it up there in the air a little bit longer. Let's try to get a little closer to the parking area, which I assume is further ahead. And just touch down. I should do an external view for the touchdown. Should feel it up here. All right, here you go. Very gently. It's not looking like it's going very fast at all here. All right. Pretty good rudder authority. You can hear the wheels rolling. I think the TC probably is like, what the hell, the guy just landed. It's just so busy talking into the intercom. Oh cool, look at that, there's a... Well, there's a... well, like a GTA or more modern looking fire engine there. Alright, I'm just gonna get off the end here. Let's see, I want to test something. I want to see if the plane brakes when you go over like ground, it's not a runway. Let's see if it actually, it's okay. Still be doing okay, as long as if you're going a certain slow enough, it's okay. Or maybe if it's flat enough, you can probably land anywhere. I hope that's true, because I want to land in the middle of nowhere in some places, and that would be a lot of fun. Not necessarily always on runways and roads. I want to be able to land like on a field, like you can in Just Cause 4 and Isle 2 Sturmovik, a bunch of other video games. Right now I'm just gonna land here and put my flaps up to leave the plane nice and neat. Brake, come to a stop, and that's it. Thanks very much for being around. I'm going to take a break. I'll be back at let's see, probably 3:30 in an hour's time, and do a little flight over Salento. And I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. This is Hypertext Hero shutting off the engine. Out. Peace out.